Imagine this, guys, it's 2 a.m. in the middle of the night. You're standing alone on a deserted road, perhaps a graveyard road. A thick fog has enveloped the path, and there's no one in sight for miles. Suddenly, you see a bus approaching from the distance. You have to get on this bus because there are no other vehicles, and this is the last bus going to your home. Anyone else would definitely board, right? But how would you feel hearing this? This bus, which is supposed to take you home, will actually not take you home. It's going to take you to a completely different place, and upon reaching there, your soul will shiver because events will unfold that you couldn't possibly imagine. You've imagined all this, right? But a passenger actually felt and experienced this very thing with their own eyes. And sometimes, guys, in your life, such incidents occur where you need to trust your instincts and be very careful. Because sometimes your decisions can put your life in extreme danger, and sometimes your decisions can save you. You'll know why I'm saying all this by the end of this video, and it's very important, because today's story is so incredibly scary and horrifying. When you hear this story, you'll wonder, if I were in that situation, what would I have done? If I were there, I would have been frozen stiff, because this story is so terrifying. This is the story of a bus and its passengers. And guys, let me tell you one thing, to be a passenger on that bus is like inviting death itself. In fact, a mystery is hidden in this story that no one worldwide has ever been able to solve. It's the biggest mysterious story on this planet. Now, before starting this video, subscribe to this channel for more such horror, mysterious, and historical videos. The beginning of the nightmare. This story is from China. In China, there is a bus route numbered 375, which travels from Mingyuan to Fragrant Hills. The distance between these two places isn't much, it's hardly 16 kilometers. And this was a normal bus, like any other that usually takes people home. But this one was for late night workers. It was the midnight of November 14, 1995, and the bus was running on its usual route. At one point, the bus saw some passengers waiting. The driver stopped the bus at a place called the Summer Palace. 4 people were waiting there, a couple, husband and old woman, and a young man in his early 20s. They all got onto the bus. Before boarding, they noticed that there were only 2 people inside the bus, the driver and the conductor. The couple took the seats right behind the bus driver. The old woman and the young man took facing seats. It was past 2 a.m. at this point. This was going to be the bus's last trip. After this, it was confirmed the bus would head back to the depot. The mysterious figures, however. There was so much fog on the road that even with the bus lights on, the driver couldn't see anything ahead. Visibility was absolutely zero. The chances of an accident were very high. The bus driver asked for advice, suggesting, should we continue on this road, or should we take another route? The conductor, the old woman, and the young man all agreed that they should take an alternative route, as anything could happen here. But the couple sitting behind the driver totally disagreed, saying, no, it's just a 1 or 2 minute distance on this road, we'll reach our home. Drop us off at the next turn. This was the final turn of the route. After the next turn, the bus driver was all passengers at their homes, but the couple got off right there. Now, only 4 people remained on the bus: the driver, the conductor, the old woman, and the young man. It was a dong mant. The road was completely silent, like a forest path. No one was visible around. It was so quiet that there was no sound except for the bus engine. It was pin-drop silence. Since no one knew each other on the bus, they couldn't talk. They only had one option: to sit by the window in the dark night and enjoy the view outside and the cool breeze. The old woman was doing just that to pass the time. Just then, the bus driver applied the brakes immediately. The young man, in shock, yelled at the driver, "What is this? How can you stop the bus in the middle of nowhere at midnight? Can't you see how cold it is?" The bus driver turned around and said, "Look closely. 3 people are standing in the middle of the road. They signaled me to stop the bus." While the driver and the young man were talking, those 3 people entered the bus. Seeing those 3, everyone inside the bus was terrified and shocked. There was nothing wrong with those 3, but they were wearing clothes in the era of kings and emperors. And their clothes looked very dirty. It seemed like either they had come out of the mud or their clothes hadn't been washed for years. There was another weird thing. The person standing in the middle had his arms resting on the shoulders of the other two, as if the other two were supporting him, or as if the person in the middle was very drunk and the other two were taking him home. But what about their clothes? Why were they so different? The old woman's suspicion. As soon as those three boarded the bus, the old woman was very uncomfortable and shocked. She went to the conductor and said, "Something feels wrong about these three. I don't have a good feeling about them. Something is amiss." The conductor listened to the old woman and replied, "I understand what you mean, but there's a theater nearby, just a few minutes away. I think these people are from that theater. They look like drama performers." The old woman grew even more uncomfortable and alert. The young man had quoted herring the conductor, but the old woman was suspicious. If they are from a drama, why is the conductor trying to console us? They could have told us themselves. And if the person in the middle is drunk, why is his hair covering his entire face? All these questions were running through the old woman's mind. It was silent again on the bus, just like before. The old woman could not avoid these thoughts. She was constantly watching those three with the corner of her eye. Guys, at this point, there wasn't much road left. They were very close to Fragrant Hills. They were about to arrive. The bus had now returned to the default route it was supposed to be on after taking a brief detour. But it was very late. There was no noise on the bus, just pin-drop silence. The dramatic escape. The bus driver was starting to feel very sleepy. His eyes were drooping, but slowly he regained some consciousness. He saw a black cat run past his bus. His eyes widened, and he applied the brakes immediately. The old woman was thrown forward and fell onto the young man. The young man asked, "Are you all right?" The old woman just twisted her face and silently returned to her seat. A little later, the old woman stood up again and started shouting that her purse was missing. She claimed that when the driver slammed the brakes the last time, the young man sitting in front of her had stolen her purse. The young man was very shocked, saying, "No, that's not true. I haven't stolen anything. If you want, you can search me." But the old woman wasn't listening to him. The young man insisted, "I haven't done anything like that. I'm literally innocent." The old woman slapped him at that moment, and he was very shocked by what was happening to him. Seeing this drama, the conductor and the driver suggested, "Perhaps you shouldn't do all this here. You should get off the bus. There's a police station nearby. You can solve this there." As all this was happening, the old woman could hear the laughter of the man whose hair was covering his entire face. At that moment, the old woman and the young man got off the bus. The young man was very scared, thinking he was going straight to the police station. But the old woman's face showed no tension. She looked very relaxed, as if a huge burden had been lifted from her shoulders. The young man then asked the woman, "Why did you do all this?" "I didn't steal anything." The woman said, "You don't need to shout. You should thank me. To be honest, I saved your life by doing all this." To avoid confusing the young man further, the woman told him a story. The old woman told the young man, "As soon as those three people boarded the bus, I noticed that something was wrong with them. There was a negative, different vibe. As I was feeling this, I kept a constant watch on them with my side eye, looking for a clue. Then, as a gust of wind came, the middle person's hair blew up, and at that time I saw that he had no face. He was a faceless ghost. If someone has no face, it could be a paranormal entity. And when I looked at the feet of all three, I saw that none of them had any feet. Before we could become their victims, I created this whole drama. It's better for us to get out of here as quickly as possible and not fall prey to them. Becoming their prey would be like embracing death." Hearing all this, the young man became very emotional. He hugged the woman. The unsolved mystery. Then the young man suggested to the woman, "Our lives have been saved, but the bus conductor and the bus driver might be in danger. Let's go to the police and inform them as soon as possible. Maybe their lives can be saved. And guys, you know that whenever such a horror or mysterious thing happens, the police usually don't pay much attention or focus on it. They went and told the police everything, and the same thing happened. They got no focus or attention." Seeing all this, the old woman and the young man left, thinking, well, their lives couldn't be saved, but ours were. But guys, you might think the story ends here, right? No. The real mystery and horror have just begun. The bus left on November 14th to reach its destination, but it never arrived. As soon as the police got to know about this, they remembered the old woman and the young man. On November 15th, the police went out to search for the bus and checked the nearby CCTV cameras. They found a shocking fact. The CCTV footage was available only up to the spot where the old woman and the young man got off the bus. After that, the bus was never captured by any CCTV camera in the entire area. The visibility of the bus was zero. It was as if the bus never existed. It was so strange, truly mysterious. After searching for the bus all day, they didn't find it. But the next day, they did find the bus. And as soon as they found it, everyone rushed to the spot. While on their way, they realized one thing: the bus was not near Fragrant Hills. It was found submerged in a river 100 kilometers away from Fragrant Hills. Everyone rushed there. The entire police force worked together to pull the bus out, and what they found inside the bus when it was pulled out shocked everyone. When I heard it myself, I got goosebumps. Inside the bus, 3 dead bodies were found: one of the bus driver, the second of the bus conductor, and the third of the man who was sitting between the 2 other people wearing old-fashioned clothes. And guys, do you know what the most shocking thing was? It had only been 2 days since they died, but their bodies were completely decomposed. They were so badly decomposed in just 2 days. That too inside the water. How is this possible? And how did this bus, without any stops, travel 100 kilometers from Fragrant Hills River? What's the possibility? The police then opened the fuel tank. There wasn't a single drop of petrol, but there was one thing: blood. And guys, to this day, no one in the world has an answer to a single one of these questions. How can a body just 2 days old be so decomposed, especially when it was in the water? How is that possible? How did a bus, whose fuel tank might have only been filled up to Fragrant Hills, end up in a river 100 kilometers away? How is that possible? The CCTV footage is only available up to the point where the old woman and the young man were dropped off. There is no CCTV footage available beyond that point, even though CCTVs are available on every road. How is that possible? And the biggest question: who were those people holding the drunk man? Were they ghosts? Were they spirits who killed that man and then also killed the bus conductor and the driver? No one has an answer to these questions to this day. It is that mysterious. And guys, one thing I found very creepy was, why did the bus driver choose the route where he was going to meet those 3 people? Did he know this beforehand? In my simple words, this mystery has never been proven anywhere. What actually happened that night? What is the connection with the old woman and the young man? We may never know. But one thing I believe is that the death of that bus driver and the conductor had happened long before. But what is the reality of this? We still don't know. And guys, I believe that even today, that bus still runs on the route to Fragrant Hills every night. Even today, it must be taking people as its prey. Even today, that bus must be running on that road in the middle of the night. So, now before this video ends, I want to tell you one thing. Whenever you go out anywhere at midnight, always make sure to tell whoever you are traveling with to travel on the route you know. It might happen that your cab driver or any driver is taking you on a completely deserted route, and you might think there are 2 of you, but in reality, you are only one. The driver isn't there. No one is driving the car. You are sitting alone in the backseat on that deserted road. So guys, this story ends here. My name is Eamon Parker, and thanks for watching this video. Thank you. Would you like me to research and share any known theories that have tried to explain this mysterious event?